Do You, featuring Sima Yan and Sun Hao. Du Yu was a field marshal who served the Jin Dynasty during the end of the Three Kingdoms era. He was the most important commander under Zhonghui during Wei's conquest of Shou. He later managed to lay waste to the Wu army with great force reasonably quickly and helped receive the surrender of Sun Hao. He was born in the year 223 and was from Jingzhou Commandery, and would go on to marry a sister of Sima Zhao, Princess Gao Lu. He was a prolific author who wrote an influential commentary on the Zhuo Zhuan. As he was a self-proclaimed addict of the text, he used it to comment on the Qing-Xiu classics, therefore combining the two books into one, which has been the common practice ever since. His physical capabilities were unremarkable. He was unable to ride a horse, nor could he shoot an arrow with significant force. He served as Zhonghui's chief clerk during the invasion of Shou, so would have held supervisory responsibilities such as applying discipline or managing internal grievances. When Zhonghui died and Wei was abolished, Du Yu served under Sima Yan of Jin. In light of the conquest of Shou under the fifth and final emperor of Wei, Tao Huan, Sima Zhao was made duke on the 9th of December 263. He made his eldest son Sima Yan his heir. Zhao often hesitated and considered that Sima Yan's brother Sima Yu would be the more appropriate heir. Sima Yu was talented and had been adopted by Sima Shi, who had no biological sons of his own. Sima Zhao admired Sima Shi's role in the takeover of power so much that he thought about returning it to Shi's branch of the clan. A number of high-level officials favoured Sima Yan, however, so Sima Zhao agreed with them. In light of the recent fall of their ally state of Shou and the death of their emperor Sun Xiu, it was believed the people of Wu were yearning for a mature emperor, so against the final wishes of Sun Xiu, Sun Hao was enthroned instead of Sun Wan. Sun Hao earned the favour of the people by reducing taxes, releasing a large number of ladies in waiting from the palace to let them marry, and gave relief to the poor. After that, however, all hope was shattered, and Sun Hao became cruel, superstitious, and indulging. Any outspoken disappointments of his reign were reported, and met with clan extermination. He forced the former empress to commit suicide and then exiled her 4 sons, before having a change of heart and executing the 2 eldest. He believed in a prophecy that Jing forces would eventually defeat Yang provinces, so in 265 he undertook the costly project of moving the capital from Jianyi to Wuchang. He executed anyone who spoke out against his wasteful ways. The only person who could speak freely without consequences was Lu Kai, a nephew of Lu Xun, due to the massive amounts of respect that he held from the public. In 264, Sima Zhao had taken the penultimate step towards usurpation by becoming king of Jin, and Sima Yan was named as the crown prince. On the 6th of September in 265, Sima Zhao died without having formally taken imperial authority, and Sima Yan ascended the throne as king the very next day. He honoured his mother Wang Yuanji as Empress Dowager and made his wife Empress the same year. Based on the Confucian principle that the oldest son by an emperor's wife should inherit the throne, the developmentally disabled Sima Zhong was made the new crown prince. This decision would eventually contribute greatly to political instability in the Jin dynasty's ultimate decline. On the 4th of February 266, Sima Yan forced Tao Huan to abdicate, bringing an end to the Tao Wei state. Then 4 days later, he declared himself Emperor Wu of the Jin dynasty. Emperor Wu faced 2 major military issues almost immediately. Incessant harassment from the rival forces of Eastern Wu under its Emperor Sun Hao and Xianbei, Xiang, and Xiongnu rebellions. The latter had settled around Bing province after the dissolution of their state by Cao Cao in 216, and were greatly feared for their military abilities. The rebellions were considered the greater threat by Sima Yan's advisors, so he sought to establish peace with Wu. Sun Hao did not accept the peace offering. He considered invading the Jin dynasty, but did not do so at that moment. Sima Yan sent a number of generals to combat the Xianbei and Xiang rebels, whilst also preparing the southern border regions for war against Wu. Reports of Sun Hao's cruelty and ineptitude encouraged Emperor Wu to act quickly, but rebellions kept his attention away from the inevitable invasion of Wu. Sun Hao also dealt with his own internal rebellion during this time in bloody fashion, which he believed was a fulfillment of the before-mentioned prophecy, so he moved the capital back to Jianyi. In 268, Sun Hao began periodically attacking Jin's border regions. Xu Ji attacked Jiangxia, Wan Yu attacked Xiangyang, whilst he himself prepared an attack at Hefei. All of these attacks and several later ones were repelled by the Jin forces. In 271, Sun Hao launched a major attack against Jin. He brought along with him his mother, his wife, and thousands of women from his harem. This demanded heavy labour from the soldiers, who had the extra burden of dragging along the ladies' wagons. This caused the troops to murmur about defection. Wan Yu, Liu Ping and Ding Feng had already considered leading their troops back to Jianyi, but Sun Hao only decided to withdraw after he heard the rumours. He bore grudges against the three generals when he learned that they had already discussed it and considered them disloyal to him. In 272, the governor of Yi province, Wang Jun, received Sima Yan's support to start building a massive fleet to eventually use to conquer Wu. As the wood shavings from the building project floated down the river, the Wu general Wu Yan realised what was happening and requested the northwestern border be fortified, but Sun Hao refused. In the same year, Jia Chong's strong-willed but villainous daughter, Jia Nanfeng, was selected to be Sima Zhong's princess. She was 14 and he was 12. Zhong was unable to learn the important skills necessary to govern, and Jia quickly became known for her jealousy. She established a relationship with the crown prince where he both loved and feared her. For the rest of her life, she would have him firmly under her control. On one occasion, it was hinted that Sima Zhong was inappropriate to be an heir, so Sima Yan tested his abilities. Princess Jia Nanfeng arranged for someone else to cover for her husband by writing simple yet correct answers to Emperor Wu's inquiries, and the emperor was impressed. In late 272, Sun Hao would carry out an action that would lead to a major rebellion which emboldened the soldiers of Jin. Bu Chan feared he would be punished somehow when Sun Hao summoned him to the capital, so he rebelled. It was put down by Lu Kang, but the rebellion exposed the distrust the Wu generals had for their emperor. Many Jin generals proposed their plans of conquest to Sima Yan. Sima Yan suffered a major illness in 276 and was reminded of his plan to conquer Wu by Yang Hu. Most of the officials were still concerned with Tu Fu's ongoing rebellion and so opposed Yang Hu, but he received support from Du Yu. Sima Yan considered their proposal with great thought, but he didn't act at this time. In 279, the Jin general Ma Long put down Tu Fa's rebellion, so Sima Yan could finally concentrate his efforts on conquering Wu. After accepting the advice of Wang Jun and Du Yu, he commissioned a six-pronged attack led by his uncle Sima Zhou. Along with Du Yu, Hu Fen, Wang Rong, Wang Hun and Wang Jun, the latter two leading the largest armies. Wang Jun's fleet headed east down the Yangtze and cleared the river of Wu boats, whilst at the same time each of the Jin forces advanced quickly and captured the border cities that they were targeting. Despite Du Yu's lacking martial prowess, he led his army with haste and did not waste time in slaughtering the Wu forces. Wu attempted to put up resistance by sending its armies to fight the Jin invaders, but they suffered consecutive defeats. And even though the Wu Chancellor Zhang Ti made a last-ditch effort to stop Wang Hun, he was defeated and killed in action. Wang Hun, Wang Jun and Sima Zhou then marched for Jianyi. Sun Hao was forced to surrender in spring of 280, and the following integration of Wu territory into Jin's appeared to have gone relatively smoothly. Sun Hao was bound as a captive, and then he and his clan were escorted to the Jin capital Luoyang. Jia Chong, looking to humiliate Sun Hao further, asked, "I heard that you had cruel punishments, such as poking out people's eyes and peeling off their facial skin. What kind of punishment is this?" Knowing of Jia Chong's instrumental role in the Wei Emperor Tao Mao's death, he replied, "If a subordinate planned to murder his emperor or was treacherous, I would use those punishments on him." Jia Chong was the one who ended up feeling humiliated, and he didn't respond. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.